Let's now bring in Jon Alterman. He's the Senior Vice President of CSIS, that's the Center for Strategic and International Studies, as well as the Director of its Middle East program. Good morning. What exactly, just for our viewers, just reset this, what exactly do national security advisors do, and how did Mike Waltz bungle it?
Well, the National Security Advisor tees up all the national security information for the president, works to organize all of the president's advisors so as a National Security Council, they can give him advice and then make sure that the rest of the government is doing what the president wants. So in many ways, the National Security Advisor is the point person on national security issues between the entire U.S. government and the president of the United States and vice versa.
And it seems as though that person is really the glue between the president and the government and the executive branch that will execute strategy. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as interim national security advisor. Henry Kissinger held both roles back in the 70s. But looking at history, is something like this really sustainable? We know it's interim, but what will happen in the meantime?
I don't think it is sustainable because the Secretary of State is the channel between the 8 billion people in the world and the U.S. government. And the National Security Advisor is a channel between the U.S. government and the president. And I think there's just too much information to keep track of every day. These are both 70 or 80 hour a week jobs. And to keep all the information straight, to have people who work for you know what the boss wants becomes tremendously difficult. And yeah, I think while the president may want Marco Rubio to execute, it's going to be hard to just keep track and keep on top of all the information that's coming his way.
Now, you know that President Trump likes to really lead from the top. He likes to make calls with world leaders directly. He likes to make deals one-on-one. So does this interim position for Rubio make that easier for Trump and more challenging for those trying to get him the information he needs before making those types of conversations and calls?
Well, that's exactly it, that you have thousands and thousands of people in the U.S. government who are trying to get exquisitely accurate, well thought through information to the president to assist the president in making those calls. I think you're going to have all kinds of messages that get dropped, messages from the president that don't make it back to people. And you have thousands of people who have never seen their boss or rarely see their boss. And I think having people as both Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, making sure the people who are closest to the president know what the president wants and vice versa is going to be very, very hard for what I assume is going to be a few months of this interim arrangement.
And then just before we let you go, we only have a few seconds left. Any clue, any hint of who you think would take the role permanently after this interim position?
I don't know. As you say, President Trump really wants to make a lot of the calls himself. The question in my mind is, how do you best support the president? That's what everybody in the National Security Council is trying to do, and it's very tough.
We'll keep watching this. Jon Alterman, great to have you with us. Thanks for waking up and joining the show.